Hey everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with the Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today we're sitting down with Alix Peabody. She is the founder of Bev, the beverage company disrupting drinking culture one can at a time.
My hope is that one day we can have all sorts of crazy stuff. Like I'd love to have, think Red Bull style, have a media company that's really fueled by beverage sales. That's the dream. So I'd like to build something way, way bigger than beverage.
Alix explains how the cost of freezing her eggs led to the start of Bev. She also talks about the antiquated norms the company is trying to change and the female empowerment platform made by chicks.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about this awesome product. So I have a California rosé wine, and it says it's dry and a little fizzy. So
yeah, it's got 0 grams of sugar, for the record. Do it. It's delicious. You're gonna like it. Cheers. Wow,
this is really good.
Okay, you don't have to say that if you don't mean it.
No, it really is. It really is good, and I love a little sparkly rosé.
It's just a little fizzy, as we say, just a little bit fizzy.
This is perfect for like a beautiful day, like out like on a boat or by the
in
beach.
The park, any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Take this to Central Park with like a little basket and like have a picnic. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And what flavor are you drinking?
So I'm drinking the Sauvignon Blanc, which I also love. I don't have a favorite child, but if I did, it might be this one.
So did you launch them all at the first time, all together, or did you have one like version first?
Yeah. So the rosé was the hero product. It was the first one, and that was in large part because I wanted to make something that could be drank in the same environment as like beer or White Claw or anything like that. And my thought originally was that rosé is something that people are drinking more and more as like a party drink rather than just a straight wine.
Yes, totally.
And then people really liked it, so we wanted to kind of expand and make sure that the non-rosé drinkers could participate in the brand too.
Awesome. So take us back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about, what was your journey to get here and, found Bev. I'm sure it was a crazy story.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. So I started the company 2 years ago, just about. Wow. I keep saying that, and I'm like, is it 2 years? Is it 20 years? I can't even tell anymore, honestly. But and so, long story, very condensed. I was having some medical issues, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay to freeze my eggs. So I was basically, kind of in this really tricky financial situation. And I started...
Because it's really expensive to freeze your eggs.
It's super expensive, and it's not covered by insurance. And I was having ovarian issues. So like even in my situation, I ended up losing my right ovary. And even in my situation, it was not covered.
That is insane.
Yeah, I know. It was totally ridiculous. And so I basically ended up throwing parties because I was trying to raise some money. So I started throwing these parties in Silicon Valley. They got pretty popular.
How did you get that idea? So it's like, okay, I need money. How do you
go from need money to throw party? Yeah. So I was, I'd thrown one kind of relatively recently, or recently before that, and people loved it and kept asking me if I was going to do it again. And I was just like, I can't afford it. Like, I'm not going to just start throwing parties. And then I was like, well, maybe if I ticketed it, like, would people still want to come?
What types of parties were
these? Just day pool parties, like mini festival-y type things. Fun. Yeah, my aunt and uncle had this house up in Northern California that had just a lot of space and a pool all of this kind of stuff. So I would just do super scrappy things like get random friends who were DJs to DJ it and, have different people in different areas and that kind of thing. So it was really fun.
So you started ticketing people and they were coming so you could make a little money that way.
Exactly. Yeah. So I started ticketing people. The parties ended up being really popular. So we're talking, the biggest one was probably like 400 people, 300 people.
Wow.
Yeah. They got pretty wild, which was cool. And so after I kind of did that, dealt with all my medical issues, decided that I wanted to build a brand that was centered around sort of this fun atmosphere that I'd been building, but that was really centered around women and women owning the social space. I went to a college where there was just a lot of frat life and women are
What college did you go to?
Dartmouth.
Oh yeah, so it's like a bro-ier vibe.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of crazy because women are, funneled into frat basements constantly, and there's just a different energy around how people are interacting in those spaces. So I wanted to kind of change that. And so originally I moved to LA thinking I would do some sort of media company, events company, and realized pretty quickly that if I wanted to have a brand that people actually cared about, I should probably have a product people cared about. And so that's how I kind of randomly ended up in this crazy, crazy industry.
So at your parties, was there a lot of rosé being drank?
There was. Yeah, there was. It was actually funny. So it was at my aunt and uncle's place, and it was my aunt she was super cool with the sole exception of going around the pool and just being like, no glass by the pool. Yeah.
100%.
Which is a big deal. So that was that was definitely part of, the planting in the back of my mind.
Totally. So you moved to LA and you're like, I want to have, a female friendly, fun party product. What made you land on a canned rosé?
Yeah, so actually a lot of it, it's not particularly interesting. It is to me, but was centered around...
I'm sure lots of people think it's interesting.
A lot of it was centered around the legalities of how alcohol is sold. So it's a very, very regulated space. It's a space that is so antiquated, and everything is still grandfathered in from the Prohibition days. And so, yeah, it's wild. And so basically there's a 3-tier system, and you're not allowed to self-distribute or sell product yourself. You have to have a distributor who sells into a retailer. So when you think about you can't buy liquor straight from the liquor company, you have to buy it from the store. And there's a reason for that. And, there's one exception, which is in wine. If you have a wine club or near a California winery, you're allowed to sell direct to consumer. And so that's why I landed on wine other than any other type of beverage, is because I needed to figure out a way that I was going to sell it at the beginning when a distributor wouldn't really talk to me. And I put it in a can simply because I had no money, and I figured that was a good way to brand it. When you pour something into a glass, you don't know what it is, and it's that is an expensive thing to brand if it doesn't brand itself. So that was kind of my thought originally. And then lo and behold, it turned out that it's a booming space that I had no idea was up and coming.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. So it kind of just happened naturally, and you kind of found it by just searching around.
Yeah.
That's insane. And so talk to me about your first steps, starting Bev. How did you think of the name? How did you want to think of the branding and just the ethos behind, your company?
Sure. Yeah. So, a big part of it was, I didn't make the products pink because of any reason other than it's just my favorite color, the color of the can. So it's okay, I was just kind of unapologetically me about it. At the very beginning, I had to get product, and I had no idea where to start. I remembered that there was this guy that I'd met on a dating app 2 years earlier that happened to work in wine. So I just called him out of nowhere. He's like, "Why are you calling me? I haven't heard from you in 2 years." I'm like, "Hi, I need a lot of bulk wine." He was like, "Literally go to Safeway. Why are you calling me?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I need a lot." So anyway, and it turned out that his roommate and one of his close friends actually owns a wine supplier in California. So super random, and then just kind of went down that rabbit hole for a while. And I realized at the time that I had a 401k that I kind of didn't even realize was in existence, or I probably would have used it, but I cashed out the whole thing to buy our first round of product.
Wow.
So yeah, that was kind of the beginning. It was not a risk profile I would recommend.
And then how did people find out about your product and start purchasing? Is it still just direct to consumer, or can people find you in stores?
Yeah. So we're actually rolling out we're in a few different states now. We're in California, Texas, Colorado, Tennessee, soon to be Massachusetts, Arizona, and Nevada. I hope I got that right. Sorry if I didn't. But anyway, and we're rolling out in California in Albertsons, Vaughn's Pavilions, Safeway, Target, BevMo. So you can buy us all around. Go get it.
Oh, wow. That's insane. So it's can be found everywhere.
Yeah. It's rolling out right now. So by the summer, it will be able to be found everywhere. And if you're not in a
state that you mentioned, you can still get it direct to consumer, right?
Yes. You can buy it online.
So when you first wanted to get like the name out there and have people purchasing, trying your products, did you like throw parties for them?
Yeah. Yes, mostly. I know it's like all circles back to the same thing. Yeah. So it's a lot of that. We call it cans in hands. It's just getting people to try it. So there was a lot of that. There was a lot of just like giving away products, sponsoring other people's parties. I mean, honestly, there was a point in time when I would just hand it to anybody who wanted to try it. Yeah. That's kind of how we started to get the word out a little bit, and just a lot of guerrilla marketing, because, that's kind of what you have to do when there's no budget, but it's also something, if you can do successfully, that people really feel close to the brand.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like when you try it, then you understand like, wow, this is great. Like, and it keeps it in mind for the next time that they're purchasing.
Yeah. And people assume that it's sweet. They always assume that it's going to be sweet, in part because the colors are so poppy, but it's 0 grams of sugar and it's super dry. So that is always a pleasant surprise for people, because it seems to be what the consumer wants more of, which is cool.
I think it's definitely true. Like, every time I go anywhere, they're like, oh, do you want it like sweet or dry? I'm like, dry.
Yeah. Super dry. No sugar, please. Yeah.
So you were doing guerrilla marketing and you were getting cans in people's hands.
Yes.
And so from now, like, what are the next steps? Like, what do you see for the future of Bev? Like, are you going to put out more products? I know that you said that that's what it was. Like, female spaces and like parties are something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that and like what that has in the future of Bev.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, I like to think about it. I think it's Emily Weiss who said that everything that, Glossier puts out is a piece of content. I feel very, very similarly about Bev, and what we're trying to do over time is really create a bit of a cultural movement and a shift around drinking culture, and what it means to socialize, go out, party, both for men and women. Like we say, we're made by chicks, but we're made for everyone. Yeah. And so we're actually launching our Made by Chicks platform, which is going to be basically a bit of a media platform that helps, women and young entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground. My hope is that one day we can have all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, I'd love to have, think Red Bull style, have a media company that's really fueled by beverage sales. That's the dream. So I'd like to build something way, way bigger than beverage.
Oh my God, that is awesome. And is that in like the near future, or
oh my gosh,
5-10 years out?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. It's bit by bit. It's rolling out one thing at a time. So we are, launching our own podcast at some point in the relatively near future, probably in 2020. Awesome. And things like that, but it's not necessarily going to be, these things don't happen overnight. Overnight successes usually involve a lot of nights. So a lot of late nights.
And what are like the types of content that you think work best for, promoting your product, getting more brand awareness? Yeah,
so I think people really want to resonate with why we're doing what we're doing and what the brand stands for. And once people kind of understand, obviously the juice has to be good, it's table stakes, but once people really understand the mission that we're on and why we're doing what we're doing, they get really, connected to the brand in a way that's awesome. And so for us, it's a lot of storytelling and it's a lot of content. That kind of thing is important, because otherwise you don't fully, otherwise it's just a product. That said, people also need to understand the product. So there's a little bit of push and pull there.
I think the best products and, the products that people love the most have a community or larger message behind it.
The community piece is just so critical. It's so critical, especially nowadays, because I think in a world that's so connected, people just are so lonely and they want
so lonely. Yeah. Exactly. People are craving like that community aspect because we're like all on our phones, like by ourselves all the time. And I feel like your space, our space, there's a lot of competition out there. So why would someone choose to buy one product over another? It's because they feel an emotional connection beyond, it has to be a good product, but something beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree with you. And I think our product is very social by nature, right? It's a drink. And so you're generally drinking it, hopefully not alone. Unless that's your thing at the end of the day, but in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's a social product by nature. And so, trying to really build it into people's actual lives is important.
Yeah, totally. And I know like everyone's like, oh, millennials, they like they only like experiences. They don't like buy products, but it's like products with like experiences attached to them.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So this is the perfect transition. I wanted to know, what is your spark? Like, what is that thing inside you that drives you, motivates you to keep going, building, dreaming?
I kind of have an energy that I just don't think that there's anything to lose in putting it all on the line, you know, and that's something that I've always kind of been like that. And I've been an entrepreneurial spirit since I was really young. Mm-hmm. But I think, you know, when it comes to Bev in particular, I'm not in it because it's beverage. I'm not here to build a company and sell it immediately. You know, mm-hmm. I'm not here to flip it or anything like that. I'm here because I actually care a lot about changing the culture around drinking, around how men and women are interacting especially when there's alcohol involved. I think we've made a lot of progress, you know, at home and in the workplace, but the bar is still just a very tricky spot, and it's where a lot of the stuff goes down. And so how do we attack that in terms of really making equality fun and approachable and all over the sphere, if that makes sense? Mm-hmm. And that's really what gets me going every day and makes me push through the tough times, because if we can kind of help manifest that change, that's everything to me.
That's awesome. So making real changes that people can see.
Yeah.
That's insane. So we give all of our guests a token of our appreciation, a spark ring.
Oh my gosh.
It's basically a daily reminder that you can wear every day for those tough days. If you look down and you're like, I have something that keeps me going.
Thank you.
If it's not your right size,
the right size,
we'll just send you your right size.
Okay, cool.
So just like the spark ring, we think, you know, with jewelry, there can be some sentimental value, something more than just like a beautiful piece. There can be a lot of like meaning behind the piece. So we always ask, did you bring a piece of jewelry that has like a little extra meaning to you?
Yeah, well, I have two.
That's perfect.
Whichever one you. Yeah. So obviously my engagement ring.
It's beautiful, by the way. I've been staring at it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, and he put a little hidden halo. He designed it himself.
When did you get engaged?
I got engaged in April.
Oh my God, recently.
Yeah.
How did he propose?
It was just on our rooftop of our house. He had the ring tied around our cat, which was a questionable choice because the cat immediately sprinted away afterwards. I was like, Jeff, this cat completely could have just like lost this ring.
Oh my God, yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, because like a dog you can have on a leash and like kind of control where it is.
Yeah, he was just like holding our cat. I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, it was really, really sweet. Yeah, I was surprised. I was kind of one of those people where I'm like, okay, when is this going to happen? Like, let's go. We knew we were going to get married, you know, within 3 weeks of meeting each other. We were like,
whoa, how did you know?
It's the difference between nice to meet you and, oh, there you are. Do you know what I mean?
That's really good. I like that.
Yeah. There's just kind of, sometimes it's just like, oh, and you know, with friends too, there's some people where it's like, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you in a way. And then there's other people that you kind of have to like meet and get to know. Mm-hmm. We were just, I don't know. We just kind of
instant connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the other one, I'm kind of like wearing it under here, but, my dad got me, it's a cute little Tiffany necklace. I wear it every day. My dad got it for me and my sisters when I was like 12, and I've pretty much worn it every day since.
Oh my God, take it off. That's so sweet.
Yeah, so.
Awesome. And so we have some fun jewelry to play with too.
Oh my gosh,
I know you said you like all sorts of diamonds, right?
I mean, who doesn't, really?
So I have two things. Let's start smaller and go bigger.
Oh my gosh.
So first we have our diamond tennis necklace, which I love because you can wear it as like a choker
that is
something longer.
So pretty.
Or even a double wrap bracelet. And I'm obsessed with that
That
piece.
is so, so pretty.
And then
I'm just going to have to call Jeffrey and be like, also.
And if you love hidden halos, this is great. This is a 10.4 karat cushion cut.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Forget about this necklace.
Yeah. No. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous.
So it's an elongated cushion cut with a hidden halo and just like a
it's like mine if it were, you know, super
on
sized.
steroids.
Yeah.
it's extra for every day, but I thought it would be fun to play with.
Oh my gosh, it is fun to play with. I'm like, what does that even look like? It's like the size of my whole nail bed. I love it.
It's like you can't walk down the street really with this, I feel like.
Yeah. That's so fun. I love everything you're wearing.
Oh my
I'm
God,
like, this
thank
is just,
you.
everything is super cute.
Yeah, we try to, we basically design like all of our jewelry based on what like feedback we get from our community and our followers.
That's awesome. Do you make wedding bands?
We do make wedding bands.
Well, I think I probably got to call you.
When's your wedding?
Okay. So technically we eloped.
Congrats.
Thank you. But we're having our wedding, like the actual wedding on June 27th.
Oh my God. That's like literally 1 year from when we got married.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We got married June 30th last year. Great time of the year.
I hope so. Yeah. Where did you do it?
In Italy. In Tuscany.
Nice.
It was really hot there.
That's awesome.
It was 110 degrees.
Yeah. Actually, I have friends getting married in Italy in October.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's yours?
In Nantucket.
Oh,
yeah.
That'll be perfect.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope there's sunshine and hydrangeas. But
oh my God, that'd be gorgeous. Well, that's exciting. Wedding planning can be a little stressful.
It honestly, I just gave it all to my mom. I was like, just tell me where, when.
You're lucky
time.
you have a mom that's willing to do that for you.
She just empty nested, so I think she's like really enjoying the project. Yeah. And it's great for me because I'm like, there's no fighting about this at all. I'm just like, she's like, I picked your cake. I'm like, great.
Well, that's good. You're like a bride chilla. You don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming and being with us today and sharing your amazing wine.
Thank you for letting me play with your diamonds.
Oh,
They're
anytime.
beautiful.
You can always come by when you're in New York.
Awesome. Thank you.
So tell everyone where they can follow you, follow Bev, keep up with all the exciting things happening.
Yeah, so we're at Drink Bev on Instagram. There's some super fun stuff going down recently, so definitely check us out. And you can buy it on the website, www.drinkbev.com.
Can you ship it anywhere?
Yes, we can ship into, 44 different states, all the states that allow it. There are just a couple here and there that
So New York is fine?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Awesome. And if you want to see the beautiful diamonds we were looking at today, follow us on YouTube at The Clear Cut and check out our IGTV and follow us on Instagram at The Clear Cut.
It was so great sitting down with Alix and learning more about her journey. She really knows how to make lemonade out of lemons, or in this case, rosé out of grapes. She took an unfortunate event and made not only an incredible and thriving business, but a movement of female empowerment. We can learn a lot from her journey. Thanks for tuning in. You can find new episodes of Cozying Up every Monday. Follow us on Instagram at The Clear Cut and our YouTube channel at The Clear Cut. If you guys know any inspirational women that you'd like us to interview for Cozying Up, please shoot us a DM or send us an email. We would love to meet them.